Hello, everyone. This is Gala Stella. Hello, everyone. This is Gala Stella. I've gone from being a victim to a victor, now an advocate against domestic violence. And welcome to the Gala Stella Survival Podcast. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I have two cute people with me here today. I'm going to go back to the title. Our topic for today is domestic abuse. We are breaking the cycle. Domestic abuse, we are breaking the cycle. And now let me go back to what I was saying about these two cuties right here, Jada and Jeremiah. I'm going to allow you to introduce yourselves. Jada, you go first.
Hi, I'm Jada Lee. I play basketball at Nation Ford High School. I witnessed domestic violence when I was probably like 5 years old. Very young, but I remember almost everything that happened. So I'm just here to talk about it and get my experience out.
Okay, thank you. Jeremiah?
Okay. Hello, how you doing? My name is Jeremiah Edward Gillum. Or E. Gillum, man. Same thing. But I experienced domestic violence when I was like 9 through 17, so like now.
Okay.
I go to Nation Ford High School. I am a senior. The college I want to go to is South Carolina State. And yeah, that's.
And both of you are basketball players.
Yeah.
Basketball players, yes. And everyone, They are a couple. They are a couple.
Baby.
And I met the two of you because last week I interviewed Mr. Jason. And I met him at the Domestic Violence Speakers Bureau. And the first day, you were there.
Yep.
And I looked at this cute young lady, and I wondered to myself, why is she here? And you were there with your mom. And then the next day, Jeremiah, you came.
Yep.
And the two of you just brought so much joy in life to our training. And to see two young kids, and I say kids because I'm old enough to be your grandmother, so I say kids, to see two kids that are on the same page, have the same goal, have experienced some of the same things, and now you're advocating for other kids that might have experienced some of the same things that you've experienced. And then we go back, another month later, and I walk into the LOS, Love Speaks Out.
Yep.
Yep.
And who do I see again? The two of you again. So, how are you feeling right now?
I'm a little nervous, but I know that's gonna go away eventually. But I'm excited. I'm excited as well because I want to tell people what I've seen, what I've witnessed, so that like they can see the signs basically before anything bad starts to happen. So,
Here, Jeremiah, how are you feeling?
I'm gonna have to agree with her. I am also nervous. It's a new space. I don't think I've ever been in Rock Hill before, but
Okay.
getting out of my comfort zone. But yeah.
It's okay. So, what prompted you? You just pretty much said because you want to help other kids that have gone through what you've gone through. You want to help other kids recognize the signs. So, is there anything else that prompted you to be here today?
not that I can think of off the top of my head. No, not really.
Okay, Jeremiah, what has prompted you to be here today?
What has prompted me to be here today is to learn more, because I realize the more you talk or listen is the more you learn, and I kind of want to better my relationship as well. So the teachings that if I learn something from you, I'll also can put it on myself and then treat her.
Okay, so we're all going to be here learning from each other
I
and
guess
one
so.
another. Okay, let's get started. Both of you witnessed domestic abuse in your home. You said you were maybe 5 or 6 years old. How has witnessing domestic abuse affected you emotionally?
Emotionally. That's a good question. Emotionally, I would probably say it has caused a lot of trauma within, to where growing up, I would put up this humongous wall to where nobody would be able to get in, and I would close out the people that want to actually get to know me as a person and not use me as a person. So seeing that happen, it's it has really done a lot, because I know that I didn't want to go through that. From 5, I knew that I didn't want to go through that growing up at all. And I put that was my number one goal in life, to not go through what my mom went through.
We're going to stay right there. We're going to come back to that one, okay? So, Jeremiah, you said from the age of 7 until now?
Yeah.
So you're 17 now. So that's 10 years of witnessing domestic abuse. How has that affected you emotionally?
It made me numb to a lot of things, because at first I think I was a little bit younger than that, actually.
Okay.
But at the time, I just thought, there was play fighting. So over the years, I started to play fight with others, and it started off playful at first, but then I realized that, hold on, this not the right thing to do, because my mom, she always hid it away from me and made it seem like it was something else. I hear them yelling at each other or, pushing each other. And it'd be like, oh, yeah, we're just wrestling or, talking really loud, or we're just excited, And then as I got older, I started realizing, I was like, hold on, right? And then I talked to my grandmother about it. And then she told me the truth. Then I was like, dang. So I started paying more attention to the people around me and how my mother reacted to certain things. And I was like, yeah, something not right. But then as I get older now, I start realizing I started doing it. Now I was like, dang. So I started reflecting the actions that I seen. So when other people like come to me about like their emotions and whatnot, I felt numb, or I was like, what you talking about? I called them soft or something like that. But I'm starting to be more sensitive towards others, a lot more sensitive towards others.
Okay, so both of you said you had a wall built up. How did you allow each other in?
Man, I broke them down.
Well, when we first started, we were friends, of course. So, like, of course, it's just gonna it's not gonna be a lot. But I'll probably say I let him in when I knew that he was a genuine person and not like a person, like, he showed me from the beginning that he wasn't the type of person to like, I don't know what to say, to not like, how would I say it? I don't want to, like, not dismantle, but like what is the word? I don't even know. But not like put me down, basically, and not use me or anything like that. So once I realized that he wouldn't leave eventually, that's when I felt like the wall actually went down.
Okay, so you said leave eventually. Where did that come from as far as thinking a person's going to leave? Because I'm going to tell you, my father was in the military, and he would be gone for certain amounts of time, periods of time. And when he was gone, there was a void, even though my parents were together, but there was no male figure in the household. And when he would come back, I would have to get reacquainted to my father again because I was young. This was in the 60s and 70s. I would have to get reacquainted with him or to him again, and then he would leave again. And I didn't realize it then as a kid, but as I grew up, I too had a fear of someone leaving me. So I endured and accepted a lot of things that I shouldn't have accepted because I didn't want them to leave.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I want to say that started when my dad and my mom were in a very domestic relationship. They were, it happened before I was born, it happened when I was born, to where when I was 3 months, I didn't even want to go to my dad at all. Like, I would always felt like I needed to protect my mom. So my dad wasn't in my life. He, from 3 months to now, I've gotten numb to that. And then I want to say when I was about 10, my brother had left. So my brother was my best friend growing up. He was there from the day I was born to 10. So I was the only person I knew. He was the man of the house, you know. So when he left, I got numb again, and that's just when that wall came up again and just never went down until I met Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. So basically you felt you had been abandoned 2 times and you were going to protect yourself to prevent it from happening again.
Yep.
So you said your father left. What can you remember about the abuse between your mom and father, you know, whatever or however much you feel safe talking about?
I don't remember anything, gladly. I just know the stories that she told me. Wasn't very pleasant stories. But yeah, I don't really remember anything because I guess I just told myself not to remember anything. So the only time I guess I remember anything, it wasn't between them, it was between her first husband. I remember that because I remember hearing yelling downstairs, me and my brother upstairs playing a game, and I'm walking downstairs and I see them in the kitchen, and you just hear a big whoosh, basically. And then the next day I look at her phone and I see a bloody earpiece, so I knew it was from that situation. So that's probably the only thing I remember.
So do you feel that not remembering has been a defense mechanism for you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
So Jeremiah, would you like to share anything that you can remember?
Yeah, of course. I can't can't I remember though? I tried to like really forget about some of the things that happened to my moms, or happened to me really. But I can say I had 3 fathers in my life. Right. My first stepdad. I thought he was my real dad at first until I met like my biological father. But him, again, that was at the point when I thought like they was playing and all that. And then I guess it was around when I met my biological father that I realized, I was like, oh shoot, like this ain't no joke. Mm-hmm. And then my third stepdad, the one that I have now, that's when it wasn't my mother. In fact, it was me. But the thing is, my mom's was like letting it happen to me, basically. So it's really been a lot. Like, you know, it's really been a lot. I'm not gonna lie. But what can I remember exactly? Well, my father, sometimes he'll get drunk, you know what I'm saying, cookouts, all that, right? I do remember one story. I tend to turn trauma into like funny incidents. I remember one story, right? Yeah, I was cleaning up, right? I was on the grill, I was cooking pork chops, you know, corn on the cob, I was throwing down, right? I was like 10. Man, I thought I was doing my thing. And after, you know what I'm saying, everybody left, you know, good times, all that, right? My pops, he was like, yo, Jay, clean up, you know, take all the glasses, all that, right? And it was one time I seen a glass, you know, clear. I'm like, oh, water, I'm hot, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It was wine. But my pop, you know what I'm saying, he was a little drunk. So he's like, Jay, you drinking now? Man, beat the crap out of me. Oh my gosh. Like, oh, I haven't had like that old fashioned like over the lap beating. Oh, man, that changed my life. That changed my life.
So when you say that the abuse happened to you, so you witnessed your mom being abused, and one of her husbands also abused you. And how were you? How recent has this been?
15 to 16. Yeah. So that was like 2 years ago.
So that's recent. Okay, so you're a tall young man.
Yeah. You a big dude.
And you said your mom allowed it to happen. And I interviewed someone 2 Sundays ago, and she said that she saw her husband hit her son, and that she felt powerless as a mother because she didn't have the strength to help her son because she was so fearful of her husband. So have you ever talked to your mom about that?
Yeah, plenty times. It's got to points when I was like, yo, Ma, you need to leave him, you know, all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of getting hit. And then I had to see it from her point of view, like her perspective, and I was like, oh, okay.
And so what was her perspective?
It was, sometimes it was like he'll change, he'll be different. And then it turned into like a money situation. Like, we will go back to the streets if he leaves. So it was like we had to depend on him, basically. And then it switched over to back again. Oh, I'm just giving him another chance and all that. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna just roll with the punches. And you know.
So do you realize that financial abuse is a form of abuse?
Yeah.
And a lot of women or men do stay for financial reasons, and they endure or allow things to happen because of the financial reasons. So with that being said, was there ever a point in time that when you saw it happening to your mom, was there ever a point in time that you tried to step in to defend her?
Yeah, plenty. It's kind of funny, right? Because it got to a point when my mom's had to sleep in my room, and my step-pops, he said something, you know, kind of drastic. He was like, y'all better sleep with one eye open, you know, some weird stuff like that, right? So I was like, bet, you know, I'm prepared. You know how many Home Alone movies I watched before that? I was ready. I was ready. You know what I'm saying? I had a little butter knife under my pillowcase just in case. Right, and then it got to a point, I think me and my mom, who was out, we went to Food Line, you know, just to get away, you know, from the house. And she seen that I had that thing on me, that butter knife.
You had the butter knife.
Had that.
It was really a butter knife.
It was a butter knife. Had that thing on me. And she was like, Jay, what you got that for? I was like, if he touch you again, I'm going to kill him. Ah! Really high-pitched voice, right? And then she was like, no, that's not the way. God's, you know what I'm saying, God's gonna have a way. And I was like, yeah, all right, still got this butter knife, you know what I'm saying? Just got need to smooth somebody out. But yeah, that's one thing I really.
So did you ever try to fight back?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. When I was, I think, 16, about to turn 17. Cause before I'll let him hit me, and then if it got like too serious, my mom would tell me to go to my best friend's house, right? But then this time I was like, oh nah, we scrapping, cause my step pops, he got one leg, you know what I'm saying, heartbreaking. So I'm like, I could really take you if I wanted to, like one hit to the chest, you done. But then again, you know what I'm saying, I don't want my mom to lose like another man, so I ain't gonna do all that, right? But we fighting, and I realized like he's punching me. I'm like, this don't hurt. You feel me? So I thought there's no point of fighting back. So I let him do his thing, peacefully walked out, and then went about my business. And then after that, I did the mature thing, and I made up. I made up with him. I did. I talked to him, because I realized, because I'm not going to play innocent. I was a terrible child. Like, I was bad. Because the things that I seen, I inflicted it in school and all that. And sometimes I did disrespect my mother. You feel me? So when he did like really act out, he was acting out because I disrespected my moms. So I did have to mature in that aspect and that point. So I talked to him and I was like, dang, I apologize. He apologized, and you know, we've been good ever since.
That's interesting, because you said disrespect your mom. And one of my questions are, do either one of you have any resentments, or have you ever had any resentments against your mother for staying? Yep. Or even a resentment against your stepdad? Have you held any resentments against either one of them?
Not against my mom, but not against either of them technically. My stepdad, apparently, I used to love him growing up because mind you, I didn't have a dad in my life, so he was the only father figure I had. But no, I didn't. I loved him growing up, except for that one time, of course. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think I did have a little bit resentment towards my mom within like 2 years ago, because she put another man in my life, and then he did something wrong to her that I didn't know about, and she took him out of my life without me having any say, I would guess, or like me like actually knowing the situation of both sides, kind of. So that's the only resentment I would have towards her, but I've kind of let that go, so no, not really.
So what I'm hearing is that your resentment came more from this man being in your life and your mother removing him from your life than her staying with him. You would prefer her to have stayed with him, even though he might have been doing something wrong, than to take him away from you.
Yes and no. The first guy, her husband, I'm glad that she left that man.
Okay, good.
I'm very happy that she left that man, because not to put her business out there, but she's been single ever since. And I'm glad, because with her being single ever since, it's shown that she's really looking for a guy that can genuinely care for her and love for her for the woman she is. So I'm happy that she did that. I'm kind of upset that when it comes to, I feel like, how would I say this? She doesn't know, she knows that she wants somebody, but she doesn't know who she wants. Because when it comes to having her best friend in her life, made me grow up with him, and then just immediately took him away type of thing, you know, if that makes sense.
And so when you say not knowing who she wants, speaking from someone that has been through domestic abuse, a lot of times we don't know, because we don't even know who we are. And sometimes we have to learn who we are. We have to stay out of relationships for a while and begin to grow, that we don't attract the same person again. Because when we don't know who we are, we can say we are looking for a different type person, but a lot of times we end up attracting the same type people until we grow and we mature and we recognize, when you said earlier, the signs. You know, you recognize the signs. And sometimes we may recognize the signs and we ignore them. But once you really begin to know who you are and accept who you are and begin to like who you are, you see the signs and you don't ignore them. And sometimes that may mean this person have to leave. So it's not always trying to hurt you or take someone out of your life. It may be helping to prevent the wrong person to be in your life.
That makes sense.
And she may see that early on. And she may taking care of her baby, protecting her from what could happen to her and to you.
Yeah.
Okay? How about you? Any resentments?
Oh yeah, look, I'm gonna be completely honest. Man, there was a time I like totally disliked my mother, like at all. Like, it's because I really didn't like her because, well, I kind of lost respect for her, right? Because as like when I matured and grew up and like seen things differently, I realized that sometimes, you know, my mom was in the wrong when it came to her kids and like a man, because she made the same mistake twice with me and my sister when it came to like a man and like the child and like which one. So because I grew up with my sister, right? And I think I was 5. I was 5. Yeah, I was 5. And she left because of my stepdad at the time, you know, mistreated her and all that, right? So she dipped. And then after that, I was solo. It was just me, right? And then later on, with my third father now, right? It almost happened again. And it was that same thing. I was like, yo, I'm about to leave. And it got to a point I was like, yo, you the problem. Yeah, I did not like her at all. I was like, yo, you letting this man come in here, do this, do that. And I think it really started because when me and my mom was on the streets, you know, and we lived in a, what are them thing called? Group home? Yeah. Yeah.
Shelter.
Yeah. That's where she met him actually, right? And it was me and her in this room, you know, $200 a week, you know, all that. Me and her, we slept in the same bed, you know. It was good. First like 2 weeks, I guess. You know, it was summer break. So
was it good because it was safe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just me and her, but you know, back to normal. I loved it. I loved it. Right. Woke up, see my mom, had breakfast. You know, it was good. It was good. And then one day, right, I woke up, I was like, where my mom at? Where my mom's at? And then it got like night, where's she at? And then one day I realized she was in the room next to mine with him. I was like, oh, you just can't tell nobody, you know what I'm saying? So I felt abandoned really. And just recently, that's when I lost like my biological father. So I really had no father figure like at all. And then it got to a point I was like, dang, so you really just left me like for a man. Like, dang. And I think at that point in my life, I really had to like grow up. Like, I think that's where I learned how to cook. I made my first pot of mac and cheese. But yeah.
You had to grow up, you learn how to cook.
Yeah.
So with all of this that you've gone through, how has any of this affected either one of you in school? Because you seem to be very astute kids. So how has it affected you, or did it affect you in school as far as your grades, sociably, getting along with your friends?
Not gonna lie, growing up, I was a very shy, quiet, didn't want to talk to anybody type of kid until I hit like middle school and I moved somewhere else, and I was like, oh, I can like start over and have a brand new life basically. But like I said before, where I didn't want to end up like her or like what she'd been through, I end up getting my grades better, setting some goals for myself, and actually like figuring out what I wanted to do with my life before my life started type of thing.
So what do you want to do with your life?
I want to be a social worker. So I want to help kids in any way possible. I wanted to be a teacher, but then I learned that you don't have really great or many opportunities being a teacher. So I was like, social working is the best option right now.
And then you will have your own experiences your real life experiences to share with them and a level of empathy that some other people may not have.
Yeah.
How about you, Jeremiah, as far as your grades and sociably friends?
The friends part wasn't no problem, you know. I mean, I made friends everywhere. I just got to talk to somebody. But when it came to them grades, whew,
They weren't good.
I did not care about school at all. It was not my main priority. I did not like it. I wanted to go home, skip class. You know, it's bad. I was a bad child. Yeah. So it wasn't until actually this year that I really started teeing up on it, because it wasn't till I met Jada that I like really start getting my priorities straight. And then this year was like, I was like, I need to like really like crunch down and get my grades up, because it got to a point when I was like, a D, at least I'm passing. Like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, grades.
So did you have any outlets? Did you have any outlets, or when I say outlets, extracurricular activities, sports, or like a neighborhood rec center, anywhere that you could escape to get away from the abuse?
What? Yeah, I mean, I played basketball with my friends time to time, but my one outlet was, you know, thanks to the graces of God, this family I met. You know, my best friend Zay, me and him, we've been friends since like 7th grade. And if things went crazy, I'll go over there, and thank God, you know, it felt like they took me in, basically. So if anything happened, they'd be like, just stay with us for the next 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, say less. So it's like...
Now that makes me want to bring out my tissue.
Like, I found a dad and his stepfather, which is crazy, and then and his mother, you know, that's my aunt Shania. That's like, even though she kind of mean, you know what I'm saying, she got me to act straight and proper. But I found a whole nother family over there. You know, I still do. They still my second home. You feel me? But now I feel a little bit better, because I don't go over there just to use them as an outlet. Because before I was. Now it's just like, hey guys, you know, I'm pulling up to eat y'all food. Not too much serious.
So you said, did they give you comfort, security, peace?
A lot of peace.
How about you? And I'm going to ask another question after this. Did you have an outlet?
Since it happened so young, not really, because, you know, I still had to live with my mom.
Right.
So no, not really young, but now growing up, I think when I hit like 10 with my brother left, I did. My father figure in my life, Mac, him and his sons, he has 3 boys. Those are like my brothers to this day. So they really filled that void when it came to not having anyone in my life, really. So yeah, I did have an outlet.
Jeremiah, you said something at this, I think it was LOS or the Domestic Violence Speaker Bureau. You said, I'm paraphrasing, I can't blame a man that didn't have a man to teach him how to be a man, to teach me to be a man. So, something like that.
Yeah.
And when you said that, I thought that was so profound, because a lot of times we blame others for any type of deficits or any type of neglect that we may experience in life, or anything that we feel that may keep us from prevailing to be the best person that we're capable of being. So for someone 17 years old, how did you come up with something so profound?
Okay. Honest truth, right? Honest truth. I was in the shower freestyling. Honest truth, okay? And then I got out and I told my mom, I was like, yo, Ma, I just said this fire bar. And I repeated it. And now I was like, how can a man teach a man how to be a man when he was never a man to begin with? And I thought on it. I was like, that makes sense, because sorry, earlier when I told you I talked to my step-pops, he told me like his whole backstory and how he grew up, and he ain't really have a man figure anyways. He grew up on the streets. I was like, oh, okay, so that's why you act, right? So really talking to others, I found out that, you know, you can't really blame everybody for how they treat you, because hurt people. I learned that from her, though.
Yeah, we said that earlier in my last interview last week. Hurt people. hurt people. Because that's all we know.
Yep.
And we attract, if we're unhealthy, we attract unhealthy people. Miss Jada.
Yes, ma'am.
You allowed Jeremiah to come in. Have you ever, was Jeremiah your first real boyfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
First longest relationship I've ever been in. Glad it's the longest relationship I've ever been in.
So is it safe to say that you've never been in a domestic abusive relationship?
No, it's not safe to say that, because the guy I was dating before him, we were dating for, yes, Jeremiah is the longest relationship I've been in, but the one I was dating before him was close. Didn't know it. You never see the signs, really. With me, I was looking for something to fill the void of love, because growing up, I didn't really have that. My mom didn't grow up having it, so she didn't show it to me as often. So he wouldn't, like, physically abuse me, but he would emotionally abuse me. Like, say hurtful things. Like, I remember this one time, I went to school, and I was feeling so insecure that day. And I was wearing a crop top, and he came to me, and he was like, why are you wearing that? You look so stupid in a crop top, or you look fat in a crop top. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I found my friend, she gave me her hoodie, and I wore that the entire
You covered up.
day.
Have you worn a crop top since then?
Yes, I have. But I didn't start wearing crop tops until this year, but not to school at least. I wore it outside of school. In school, you would see me wearing sweatshirts, sweatpants, sweats, anything.
Covering yourself up because of those words and the lasting effects. Because someone said that the physical part, that's easy. You know, we could cover that up. We could put a Band-Aid on. We could put a little bit of alcohol, Neosporin, and it's going to feel better. You know, it's going to get a scar or scab, and then it's healed. But then the things that goes on up here that we just can't get it out of our mind, or it may be a certain day, it may be a certain thing that just trigger those feelings all over again. So with you being 17, 18, and you experienced the emotional abuse, and was it physical abuse? I mean, verbal abuse as well, right? Verbal abuse as well. How important, talk about your self-esteem now, where you are with self-esteem now, because you said you realized that Jeremiah wouldn't leave. Jeremiah, has Jada done things to hold on to you a little more tightly than you would have liked to been held on to?
You know something funny? Quite the opposite, actually.
Yeah, quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite.
One thing that I do before he talks is I used to do, I don't do it now, but I used to do, is I would leave somebody before they leave me.
Because you didn't want to be abandoned.
Exactly. So it's quite the opposite, but you can go now.
Funny story. Look, she tries to leave, but look, I ain't going nowhere. All right, I told her that. I think it was 4 months in, and she told me, she was like, yo, I'm sorry, because she be testing me, see her do certain things to like see if I dip or not, and I was like, yo, I ain't going nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And it was one time she didn't want to talk to me. I said, all right, I'm gonna sit here until you ready to talk. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna wait. Yep.
Sat on the stairs for 2 hours.
Yep, I did that.
You waited.
Waited.
Yeah, just to show her that I'll be there.
You'll be there. Yeah. Those are some big roles to fill for teenagers.
Yeah, I don't really. Well, I feel like I've been, other than like financial things, mentally I feel like I've been growing for like mad long,
Because of everything that you've gone through.
Exactly. So like when it comes to like the roles of teenagers and adults, to me it's basically maturity and how you handle certain things, right? Because side note, like when I talk to my sister and some things, she'd be like, don't talk to your sister like that, she's an adult. I don't care. It's still my sister, shoot. But it comes certain things like that.
So when we talk about self-esteem, Jada, being a young lady, how is your self-esteem now?
It's getting better. Still kind of struggling with it, honestly. But it's getting better. It's way better than how I was in middle school. I've learned and matured. Because in middle school, I would always be an attention seeker. So I would always want someone to pay attention to me, like, show me you love me, da-da-da-da. And I want to say junior year, maybe the end of junior year, beginning of senior year, I told myself, I was like, you don't need to be that. Like, it's better to be alone than be surrounded around a whole bunch of people. Because, not going to lie, sophomore year of high school, I felt alone surrounded by a whole bunch of people. So it's getting better. It is.
Better. So how important is self-esteem for teenagers? And when do you think it starts for girls? The most crucial years for girls.
Where they have low self-esteem or high self-esteem?
Where it's important.
It's important
to feel good about themselves.
It's very important because high school is a different story. For girls, it's very important to have high self-esteem, but it's okay to not have high self-esteem. Like, I don't want to say fake it till you make it, but sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. But back to your question, for girls, I would say it's in the middle, kind of, because it depends who you surround yourself with too. Because if you surround yourself with people that like diminish your self-esteem, then it's going to be hard for you to have high self-esteem. But if you surround yourself with people that lift you up constantly or like is by your side when you don't have it, then that's good because your self-esteem will be up by the time the end of your freshman year, if it's freshman year.
So how important is having good self-esteem when it comes to choosing a mate?
That's a good question. It's good. It's really good because you don't want to be the insecure girlfriend. You don't want to be the low self-esteem girlfriend, but you also don't want to be the cocky girlfriend or the high confidence girlfriend either. Because back to the low self-esteem girlfriend, you don't want to be that because their friends are not going to want to always be around you. Their friends aren't going to like you as much as you would want them to. And they're going to tell your partner, oh, you should leave them. They're not that good for you. Or they're always insecure. Or they're always quiet when we're hanging out together. So it's good to have it, but you don't want to be overconfident or too low, I guess you would say.
So
I was kind of going over.
When it comes to choosing guys and unhealthy relationships, because all three of us were in the LOS seminars, the trainings, and when it comes to unhealthy relationships, and you said that you didn't want to be like your mother. So does self-esteem play a part in, and I don't want to say even your mother, we're just going to say not be like women, myself as well, that might have experienced domestic abuse. Does self-esteem play in that part of securing the fact that this is not going to happen to me because I feel good enough about myself not to allow this to happen to me? Or if I see these unhealthy signs, I can walk away because I feel good enough about myself.
It does. It plays a big role in it because, again, you don't want to have, because if you have low self-esteem and that person is lifting you up in unhealthy ways and you not realizing it, you're going to want that. You're going to fiend for that, basically. So you want to have some type of self-esteem or some type of confidence within yourself to be like, that's not what I want. That's not who I want. That's not what I need in my life.
That's what I need.
Because you don't want to always depending on people is good, but you don't want to always need to depend on somebody. Like, you don't need somebody, you want somebody, you know?
You don't need someone to help you feel a certain way.
Yes, you need yourself for that. You don't need anybody else to help make you feel some good way in yourself at all.
So, Mr. Jeremiah, Have you ever hit a girl? Have you ever been abusive to a girl?
No. Okay, wait. There's funny stories behind that, right? No, like not on purpose. Like there's been times when like I got mad and I was like, you know what? Like actually, there is one time, right? I ain't hit her. God no, I ain't hit her, right? But I got scared. Like I think I broke down because again, it was one of them testing things. Right? And it was a cheating prank. You know how they do on YouTube and all that, right? But it was with her ex.
I was in my YouTube era. Sorry.
It was with her ex, right? And I was like, what? And she wouldn't let me leave the room. And it got to a point, man, I was about to come down like, Jesus. Boom. Right? And then I stopped myself and I was like, dang, I'm turning into just like him. Man, I broke down. Oh my gosh. Right?
You broke down crying?
Yeah, I broke down. Yeah, but
I can never do that again.
Mm-hmm. So what steps do you ensure, because statistics state that I think it's 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 females that witness abuse end up in an abusive relationship. And then 1 out of 10 men that witness abuse become abusers. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about breaking the cycle. Is you being a man, because you just said you caught yourself. How do you ensure on a daily basis that you're not going to be what you grew up around?
I try not to think about it, really, if that makes sense. Because, okay, earlier, remember when I said something about my homie's dad? Mm-hmm. I started reflecting how he acts instead of how my father acts, right? Or my stepdad, but same thing. So with me reflecting on how he acts and how he handles certain situations, I start using that and then, tinkering it to how she feels in certain situations to how I respond to certain things, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Right? It does. So if she'll say, she'll say something slick or something like that, I'll be like, you know what? Okay. I'm going to go get on the game. Whatever, cool. You know what I'm saying?
So how important are positive influences and mentors for kids that have witnessed domestic abuse?
They are really positive. Because look, if you gotta have a positive mentor, you gotta have somebody to, like, again with that phrase earlier, you need a man. You know what I'm saying? Teach a man, right? So with having one in your life to show you how to, basically teach you the ropes, you could also teach others how to do that. And then, it starts a nice little life cycle of, what I'm saying, good positivity. Because negativity is contagious. It's, what I'm saying? It's not good for you. So I try not to be negative. You feel me?
So did you have any teachers? Were you allowed to talk about what was going on at home? Because I know in our culture, the black culture, don't tell anybody what's going on in the house. What goes on in the house stays in the house. Yeah. Were you able to confide? You had your friends, so you already said that. Mm-hmm. Did you have anyone that you could confide in?
I was young, like I said, so I try my best when it comes to traumatic stuff to forget it. So to be honest, I do not know if I had anybody to confide in, but I know that I talked a lot, so I knew there was
You might have told it.
Yeah, might have told it, but I might not remember who was there. But yeah, I was young, so I do not remember anything. But I really do know that I did talk a lot when I was younger too.
Do either one of you have any friends that are in unhealthy relationships?
I had a friend.
Yeah, I'm about to say, she's still my friend, but, she's out of that relationship now.
She's out of it?
Yeah, she's out of it now. Yeah.
So with you having to train in LOS, and you can recognize the signs more, do you feel with your friends, if you see this happening to them, you would be able to be a better advocate for them to warn, I don't want to use the word warn, educate or inform them about what's going on? And if you tell them, how likely do you feel that they're going to listen?
My friends are stubborn. So, yes, I want them to listen and take the advice that I would give them, but I also want them to know that if they don't, then I'm always here to hear your problems. Like, I do care if you were to stay with that person and let it continue happening to you, but you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. So I do want them to know that I'll always be here for them, to like have somebody that's an ear to listen, shoulder to cry on, house to come to, where you would have food and all that stuff like that. But if you won't take the advice I give you, then I can't help you any further besides be here for you.
What do you say about that, Jeremiah?
My male friends are really stubborn. Like it.
Do you have any male friends that are abusive?
Let me think about that. I got like 4 good close ones. That's the only thing here. Let me think. No, they not abusive.
Okay, good.
They not. Yeah, they not. Because some of them just got in a relationship, so I can't really say too much. But nah, like Zay, he's really clingy, loving. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh! Every time. So he's most definitely not. And I think the other 3 are single.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So why did you sign up for the seminars? The Domestic Abuse Violence Bureau and LOS, Love Speaks Out. Why did you sign up for them at your ages?
First day, I was there. I came because my mom mentioned it to me. I came the second day because I was really intrigued to know that people actually wanted to tell their stories. Because growing up, watching movies, you see people always scared to go out and tell somebody because they're scared that something's going to happen. But I was actually surprised that many people wanted to share their stories with people they've never met before. When it came to which one was it? The Mexican
LOS.
Yeah, that one. And then LOS, it's always good to know the signs before they happen too, because because my mom's been in LOS for a while, so that was my first training. But going to the actual like classes with her, where she would teach the kids, I would be in the back just chilling, and I'm over here like, I actually do that. So I was surprised, like, wait, Jada, you do that? You need to fix that. Like, that's not good. Like, learning what's unhealthy, what's healthy. I thought it was normal. And then going to the classes and learning that I can actually, like, educate my friends about it and not just, like, sitting in the back chilling was actually, like, a cool experience for me, and I wanted to continue doing it.
So what do you want to do now from here with the training that you have? I know you said be a social worker. So what else do you want to do with your training right now where you are? How do you feel that you can serve your peers with the training and the experiences that you've had watching the abuse in your home? How do you feel you could be a catalyst for someone else?
Well, I want to take it for myself and actually like let it work within my relationship with myself.
That's good.
And second, give advice to my friends. I wanted to start a club, but I thought that would be too cliche to do, and like it would be too late to do it since this is my senior year. And I guess go to the trainings, go to the classes, actually be there for kids, because I like seeing me myself like young instead of, so yeah.
Okay. So let me say this. If you can, start the club.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be cliquish, because it's going to be a group of people that are experiencing the same thing. So if you want to consider that a clique, it's a clique. But it's a positive clique, because we're all going through the same thing, or they're all going through the same thing. And even though you're leaving, this could be the start of something that can continue on at your high school from year to year, year to year. And you don't know if you can save one person.
True.
It'll be worth starting the club. And then the next year, another person. And someone told me, all you have to do is plant the seed. Someone else will put a little bit of fertilizer on it or water it, and then someone will put the fertilizer on it, and then to continue to grow. And it's something that's needed because domestic abuse is not talked about. Yeah. There are a lot of kids at your school that are witnessing their parents being, experiencing abuse in the household. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know how to talk to someone. So they're making bad decisions. Some of them are sad. Some of them are depressed. Some of them are suicidal because of the things that they're seeing. So if they have an outlet that they could come in and be transparent and truthful, it may be saving someone else's life.
True.
So what do you feel you want to do with your training? You want to go to South Carolina State and major in what?
Oh my gosh, social working. I think. Yeah, I know, right? I came up with I said my first though.
And do you know there are not a lot of men that are social workers?
There's not.
So that's going to be good. I think it's only like 10% of the male population of social workers.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to be very, very good. So how do you feel that you can help young men?
Basically start that chain of positivity and good men. It's basically like, you know what I'm saying? I realize I said, you know what I'm saying, a lot.
That's okay.
But, starting that chain of good men, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I said it again. But in the new generation, you feel me? We won't have more single mothers and all that, right? So I feel like, you know what I'm saying, you start it now, it'll be better in the future.
So what age group do you think you need to start at? Which age group do you think you need to reach out to first?
Probably 7 through 10, because I think that's when I really start acting out. So, yeah, probably then.
The younger the better. Mm-hmm. The younger the better.
Yeah.
This has been good. So, you, Miss Jade, I want you to look in the camera and speak to a mother that they're in a domestic abusive relationship and their children are witnessing it. Speak to a mother. What is it that you would say to that mother?
I would say be there for your children, comfort your children, show your children that you're there, but that you're powerful. Because if you show them that you're powerless, they're going to feel powerless as well. So be there for them and show them that you're powerful even if you don't feel it yourself.
What would you say to the child that's witnessing the abuse in the home?
Don't be too afraid to speak up about it, and don't let it affect your life in the future. Set goals for yourself, and whatever you see your father or your mother going through doesn't mean you'll go through the same thing.
That's good. That's powerful. That was powerful. Jeremiah, what would you say to a mother or a parent that's in the household in a domestic abusive relationship?
Okay. To the parents, I would, well, why I say I would. Parents out there, hey, how y'all doing? Basically, be there for your kid, just like she said. Don't disregard their feelings. Just because you are the adult does not mean that you are right all the time. Okay? Don't invalidate other people's feelings just because you don't see it the way you see it. And children out there, if you are going through domestic violence, abuse, and all that, if you're going to do something, do something. Don't sit there and just let it beat you up all the time, let you be broken and battered. Heal and also understand, because hurt people. So you have to understand why they are hurting you so you can learn how to help them.
And so when you say do something, what would you recommend them to do?
Follow their heart. How about that? Yes, that's a good one.
So follow their heart. So even if it means, if I'm seeing my mother and I'm not talking about either one of your parents now, but follow your heart. If I see my parent in an abusive relationship and my mother is abusing my dad, or my dad is abusing my mother, or I'm being abused, if I call 911, is it safe to do that?
Well, it depends on the situation, like how serious it is. But 911 probably might be the move, just in case. Like, if you know, like, people get hurt, you know, there's been blood drawn before and all that, black eyes, like a Medea movie, basically. Call 911.
It's okay to call someone, even if it's not 911. It's okay to call someone.
It is always okay to call somebody.
It's always okay to call someone. I think we're going to end with that. So let me ask this question. This is the Gala Stella Survival Podcast. Yes. What has helped you to survive, Miss Jada?
Knowing that there is a chance for a positive future in anyone's life, including mine. Knowing that the place I'm in right now, I'll never go back or I won't always be in this place. Really that, like, just knowing that there's always a positive outcome to a negative beginning.
There's always a positive outcome. That's good. Jeremiah.
Yes.
This is the Gala Stella Survival Podcast. What has helped you to survive?
What has helped? It's a couple things, actually. She's one of them. Zay's family is also another one. And then Jesus.
Yes.
And praying. Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Praying?
Praying.
So you're a praying young man?
Oh, yeah. A lot. Yeah. Sadly, only when times get tough, but I'm working on that. I pray when I eat my food, too.
It's okay. God knows. He knows. He knows. He's there anytime we need him. Okay?
That is right.
This has been so good. Do either one of you have a question for me?
Not off the top of my head. No, I do not.
Do you have a question for me, Jeremiah?
You got a daughter, right?
I had it. Yeah, I have a daughter, but my daughter's deceased.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry.
She passed 7 years ago.
I am so sorry. Oh my gosh. Almost got me there. Let me keep this on me just in case.
Yes. So when I think about all the things that I've gone through in life, it led me to being a mother. I think I was a good mother. And fortunately, I had been delivered from the domestic abuse before my daughter was born. I had been delivered from the drug abuse before my daughter was born. So she didn't have to witness any of that. And I thank God for that. And me going through the things that I went through, when she got sick, it gave me the strength to endure what the next step would be, and that was losing her. So, yeah. So a lot of times our pain, the things that we go through, most of the time, it turns out for the good. We may not understand why we're doing or going through what we're going through. We may not comprehend it at the time. But God always, sometimes he shows us, but it circles back around. It's for a reason. And your reasons are going to be to save teenagers. Your reasons are going to save kids. Your reasons are going to be to maybe save your parents. And you're saving yourselves. So continue being the sweet young people that you are. Yes, ma'am. Respecting and loving each other. And knowing, like you said, that it's always another day. There's always a new chapter. Yeah. And it may not be good today, but I can always rewrite my chapter. So always remember in life, no matter what you go through and how life comes at you, you can always rewrite your chapter. You don't have to stay where you are. And that you are worthy of all the good things in life that God has for you and that life has for you. So you go and be great and you walk in it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I love y'all.
Thank
you so much. This has been so good. And this is the conclusion of our series, and I hope you enjoyed something. And for the parents, if you have a teen in the home, you have a kid in the home, think about what these young kids, these young adults said today. Just think about it. Think about it. Think about it. This is Gala Stella from the Gala Stella Survival Podcast. Have a good night, everyone.